Yeah, and I am fresh back from PressConf, where I was in Arizona, in Tempe, Arizona, for about a week, and I had a really good time.
Yeah,
Um,
so tell us all about it.
yeah, so PressConf, it previously was known as Pressnomics, and it had like 6 or 7 years of Pressnomics, and then, well, the pandemic hit, and it hasn't been back since. In addition, the people who ran Pressnomics got bought by GoDaddy, and I don't think GoDaddy wanted to run the event. So my friend Raquel picked up the helm of Pressnomics and started PressConf at the same hotel where Pressnomics was historically held. And I put together a little slideshow because it was a really good time. It was a great conference. It was
So it's
some like
WordPress only, right?
right. So it's WordPress business focus. So
Right.
like it's WordCamp has different tracks like development and business and marketing, or like how to use WordPress and things like that. Pressnomics is an event for the business world of WordPress, and it's also so it has like
Nice.
agencies and plugin owners and hosts and things like that. But it's not just a business conference; it's also a conference where people share what it's like to run their business, talk more about each other, and share the more personal side of things, which I really enjoyed. It was wonderful. So I
Yeah,
have
that
a
sounds
few
great.
pictures. Uh, this is where the conference was, Tempe Mission Palms, and it's
Wow.
so nice. Like coming from coming from the Northeast, where it's gloomy and rainy, coming to sunny Phoenix and area and Tempe is a blast. I
Looks
went to,
beautiful.
oh, dude, it's palm trees and there's a fountain in the middle and there's a snack bar. It's a great place to have a conference. And then we went to this is Taco from he used to be with Yoast and now he's with Amelia Capital. He and I,
Baseball.
yeah, he and I went to baseball, which Tammy Lister says is apparently adult rounders, which I didn't know that rounders existed.
I really
uh,
haven't heard of that.
no, it's because baseball's the superior form of rounders, apparently.
Yeah, I think Rounders is like a dumbed down version or something.
Yeah,
I
well,
used, I used to play that back in the day.
exactly. So I looked it up, and it turns out rounders is predates baseball. So Tammy Lister was
Huh,
right again.
okay.
the whole the whole time I tried to eat as many tacos as possible, and
Nice.
this was my favorite taco the entire trip. Just incredibly fresh, like homemade tortillas and fire roasted meats, and it was just incredible.
That
So
looks
tasty.
amazing.
Oh yeah, it was really good. We went to Art Museum for the ASU, Arizona State University Art Museum, which was in a really cool brutalist building. Oh, and then yeah, there was also a conference where this is Mary Hubbard, the head of WordPress, uh, and so that was a really cool conference. There were lots of good talks where people shared their personal experiences running a business and being themselves. And um, our friend Tammy Lister talked about the impact of being the lead of Gutenberg Phase 1, which was really interesting, where she shared the importance of treating people as people, even if they're just avatars on your computer screen. There's a person behind there, and how important it is to treat each other with respect and compassion. So uh, that was
Totally.
an example of uh, the type of talk that was going on, and I teared up, and people were crying all over the place. It was it was great. Not just Tammy's talk, but multiple talks, like really impactful stuff, and really good conversations that were had.
Sounds so nice. And yeah, it's nice that WordPress is having more like in-person events. It's so needed
Hmm.
in the space, I think.
It really is, yeah. And I met Ray with the repository, and that was really cool. Uh, she's great. She's wonderful to get to know in person.
Yeah, shout out to the repository, a great
Shout out to
source
the
of
repository.
WordPress news.
Yeah, check if you it's my go-to WordPress email. I read it every single week. We've been surveying people about their favorite WordPress emails, and I think the repository is mine.
Yeah, I'd have to agree on that.
Yeah. So Casey, where else have we been in the news recently?
Where else have we been?
Have we been on a podcast?
Oh yes, we have indeed. Yeah, so Gravity Forms, or Matt Medeiros at Gravity Forms runs a podcast called Breakdown, and Zack and I were on a recent episode, and we chatted about what's new at GravityKit. It was really fun. The first segment is with me, and we kind of chat about marketing, and we talk a bit about AI and a bit about content, and things like that. And then Zack is on in the second half talking more about GravityKit related stuff and product related stuff, what's coming up in the GravityKit space. So if you're interested in that, check it out. It's a really fun podcast, and there's some really good insights there about what we're working on. And yeah, I found it interesting. I listened to it the other day. So
Yeah, and some of what we talked about there, we're actually going to preview here today. So, Casey, what are we going to do today? Like, let's give people an overview of what we're going to go over.
Yeah, we've got lots of exciting things to chat about today, and some really cool demos as well that I'm going to go over. So the first is a brand new Gravity Forms add-on that we've been working on. And it's really exciting. I'm going to give kind of a sneak peek at that. I'm going to let Zack kind of introduce it and talk more about that. But that'll be the first demo. Then we're going to have a look at brand new search functionality in GravityView. So we've been working really hard on redoing the search bar and the way that works. And I think you all are going to be really excited about that. And we're going to take a look at that. And then we're also going to have a look at our upcoming integration with Elementor. So we have a GravityView widget for Elementor that we've been working on. And we did demo it last time on GravityKit Live, but we've made a bunch of improvements to it, and we've got some new things to show off. So that's going to be exciting too. And then after that, we're going to be answering your questions. We had a couple of questions come in before the show, and if anybody wants to ask a question, you can just put it in the chat and we will answer it for you.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about GravityKit Live. If you're watching live, please leave a comment, and we will see it, and we will answer it live. So, Casey, we've got a new product that we're previewing up next, and I'm excited to talk about it because this is one of those things that I've wanted to do for 10 years, decade of dreams for GravityView. We launched in 2014, and it's been that long that I've been wanting to do this add-on. And so we finally, one of our initiatives this year is to do more dog fooding of our own products, because it's so important to use our own products. And so we're going through all our different processes and identifying where we can use more of our products while in our own work, in our everyday work, and make sure that they meet our own needs. And that has brought back up the need for us to have this product, which is GravityBoard. It's a Kanban board, Trello style, where each Gravity Forms entry is represented by a card on a Kanban board. And you can have different lanes, and those lanes represent different statuses for each entry. So it's a great way to organize visually a project that has multiple steps in different phases of, backlog, pending, in progress, ready for review, done. I love Kanban boards. I use them all the time, and I'm really looking forward to switching our functionality over to GravityView and GravityBoard, and building more of our functionality using our internal tools instead of, right now we're using a lot of GitHub projects to do this sort of thing, and I'm really looking forward to moving it over to GravityBoard. So Casey,
Yeah,
let's take a look at what that looks like.
Yeah, for sure. Let's take a look. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. There we go. So like Zack was describing, one thing that Kanban boards are really helpful for is like organizing projects and tasks as well. So here I have a form built with Gravity Forms, and it's just for inputting tasks. So you can add like the name of the task here and give it like a priority level, a short description, a due date, and then a status. And this status field is really important because, like Zack was saying, in the Kanban, you can have different lanes, and you can kind of organize tasks by lane. So in our Kanban board, we're going to have a lane for each of these different statuses. So here we have like backlog, ready for review, active, and complete. So that might be like the different lanes that you're using if you're managing tasks. So let's go ahead and go into the back end here. So these are all of the entries. I've kind of preloaded a bunch of tasks in here. And you can see they all have like priorities and descriptions and due dates. And that's all very well and good when you have them in Gravity Forms. But GravityBoard really allows you to kind of manage those on the front end really easily in a really nice Kanban board that's all drag and drop. So to create this, we're going to go just hover over settings here and click on GravityBoard. And you can add new Gravity boards as a feed in Gravity Forms. So you can actually have multiple Kanbans per form if you wanted to do that. So let's go ahead and create a new Gravity board. And we can just give it a name here at the top first. And then we can choose the lane field. This is what I was talking about before. And in this case, it's going to be the status field. There we go.
And the lane field is a field that has multiple choices and like that only allow for a single choice, like a radio field or a select field. Those are the two that we support currently. And that allows us for having each of the statuses represented as a choice in the field.
Right. Yeah, and then next, we can actually display some information on the card that's on the cards that are in the lanes. And we can set that here. So we have the option to set a title. We can make that the task field. We can set a label. In this case, I'm going to choose the priority field so we can see what the priority is for each task. And then the description field automatically maps here to our description field in the form. So that's great. And the same thing with the due date. So that's perfect. And we are looking at having additional options here eventually. As we mentioned, this is still under development, but we will have other options here for showing other information on the card. So we also have the ability to use conditional logic here, just like regular Gravity Forms feeds for filtering out certain entries that maybe we don't want to display. And then we have some other options here. So we can trigger form notifications when cards are added, updated, or deleted. And that's really helpful for kind of staying on top of things and getting notified maybe when a task is moved to like the next stage. And then we can set the delete action as well. So we have the ability to delete cards and even lanes directly from the Kanban on the front end. And I'll show you how that works in a moment. And then we can add some kind of basic styles here. You could just choose like a board background color. Let me go ahead and maybe I'll set that to like a nice blue or something like that. And you could even upload a background image. And then here we have the ability to set restrictions on who can perform different actions on the Kanban. So you can choose who can view a board, for example, and you have all these different options. So you can actually set this based on the Gravity Forms capabilities that a user might have. Or you could just set it to like logged in WordPress users, for example, can view. And it's the same for adding cards, editing cards, deleting cards, and modifying lanes. So you could go ahead and set these to different WordPress roles, or different Gravity Forms capabilities, or whatever it might be. So you can kind of restrict things how you need them to be restricted, depending on how your website is set up. Awesome. So I think that's about it. I can go ahead and save the settings here. And the next thing I'm going to do is actually embed my Kanban on the front end. So right now, we have the ability to embed via shortcode. I believe we will have a block.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah, we will have a
Actually,
block that allows you.
I think there is currently a block. There might be.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Okay. Well, let me just take note
Let's
of
make
the
sure
feed
to,
ID
yeah.
here. Let me go ahead and add a new page, and we'll see if we can add this via a block or just do it via shortcode. Yeah, GravityBoard.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I underestimated you, Zack. Cool. So we can add the GravityBoard block, and we'll select the board that we just set up. And yeah, let's go ahead and publish the page. And let's view it. And there we go. So we've got this awesome Kanban that displays here on the front end, and you can see it has these different lanes that correspond to our status field that we have in the form. Backlog, ready for review, active, and complete. And then we have the tasks here, or the form entries, which are displayed as cards in the lane. And what you can do here is actually enter full screen, and maybe that's a bit easier for all of you to see. And you get this nice full screen layout. And the awesome thing about this is that everything is drag and drop. So you can drag and drop cards to different lanes, and that'll actually update the entry in Gravity Forms. So it'll update the status field for this entry from backlog to ready for review. So that all happens in the background. And you can drag and drop everything from the front end, which makes it really easy to organize things and manage your projects. But not only are the cards drag and drop, you can also drag the lanes. So if you wanted to reorder things, you can absolutely do that as well. And then, as you can see, every card has the label, which is the priority that we set here. It has the title of the task. It has the short description, and it has the due date. And all of this information is coming from the form entry. So another thing that you can do here is you can add lanes. So we have this button here to add a new lane. And let's say I wanted to add a lane for future, so tasks that we want to get done in the future but aren't priority right now. We could kind of add that there. As you can see, it adds that new lane. And then we could just start dragging and dropping tasks in there if we wanted to. And again, that's actually updating the status field in our form in the background there. And then, of course, you can add new tasks here directly from the board itself by just clicking on the add card button for the lane where you want to add it. And that opens up the form here. And we could add a new task in here by just adding some information, description, and we can add a due date. Save that, and you can see it adds it straight to our board.
Yeah, and when that is added, that adds an entry to the Gravity Forms form. And you can drag and drop it between lanes, just like you would any other existing entry.
Yeah. So everything is super interactive and very responsive. And yeah, just really easy to use.
So that's on the board side.
Ooh.
Now,
my task is escaping the board.
That's on the board side. Casey, one of the cool things that we have set up is the ability to trigger notifications based on updates to each of the cards, to each of the lanes. Can we show what that looks like in the Gravity Forms notifications screen?
Yeah, absolutely. I quickly just wanted to highlight the fact that you can also delete things from the front end.
Oh yeah.
So like if you wanted to remove this task, let's say it's not relevant anymore, just click on these 3 dots here, and you can actually delete the card. Or you can just update it by editing the card. So both of those things are available here, and you don't need to navigate back to your form. You can do it all here through the Kanban board. And the same goes for lanes as well.
Christina has a question. Does reordering the lanes change the order of the options of the form? And does adding a lane also add the option to the form field? Yes and yes. Yep, it modifies the form, and that's why we have different permissions settings in the board settings, so that only people who are allowed to edit the form can edit the board configuration. But maybe you want people with different capabilities to be able to add an item to the board, but not change the lane order or the lane titles. And you can also, Casey, can you click into the lane, like the backlog title, and show how you can edit the title from the front end as well?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so you just click in there and we can change the title of this lane if we wanted to.
And Klaus asks, are we able to give lanes different styles and colors? That is going to be coming. We wanted to make sure to keep things, have an MVP, like a version 1.0 that didn't spiral out into everything. Yes, that is on our list of things to do, Klaus.
Awesome. Yeah, if anyone has any other questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. We will answer them for you. But yeah, let me show you the form notifications like Zack mentioned. So we've set up a number of different triggers here that allows you to trigger email notifications depending on actions that have been taken on the board. So if I go to the notifications tab here, and let me add a new notification, and every notification is associated with an event. So if I open this dropdown, you can see we've added a bunch of new events here. So you can trigger notifications for all of these different events, such as card added or card edited, card deleted, sorted, changed lane, lane added, lane edited. So there's loads of options here.
Yeah, and one of the things you can do is if you wanted to only give a notification when the lane is moved to done, you can add the card changed lane and then add a conditional logic that says lane equals done. And that, yeah, if you do conditional logic, exactly, status
is complete.
Complete. That would allow you to only send this notification when the card, when a card has been moved to completed, and you can configure who it goes to. There's a lot of business logic that you can add, as you know, if you've used the Gravity Forms conditional logic and notification settings. The GravityBoard is going to be immediately useful for a lot of different use cases.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all these options and the flexibility that makes it so powerful for like project management and task management, especially when you have multiple team members working together.
Yeah, so that's GravityBoard. We're putting the wraps on version 1, so expect it in a few weeks. We're going to be completing our internal testing and releasing it to the public soon. But if you want early access, Casey, how do you do that?
Yeah, if you would like early access to try out GravityBoard, head over to gravitykit.com/early access GravityBoard. We have a page set up here. You can find out a little bit more information about the plugin, and then you can just add your email address here, click submit, and we will make sure to add you to our early access list and yeah, send you the plugin to try out.
Yeah, so that's gravitykit.com/early-access-GravityBoard. Yeah, and we have a question from Mark. Can this be nested so you could have a list of projects and then drill down into those? That's a great question, Mark. We haven't considered that, but I don't see why not. That's being added to the wish list after this call, so thanks for the suggestion.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons we like to demo new things on the live call and give you all early access, so we can get that feedback and make sure that we cater to the things that you need and want. So
yeah, so if you've ever wanted a Kanban board, or if this is interesting to you, please email us. We want to hear from you. We want to make sure that we're getting your use case nailed down as well. So you can email us at support@gravitykit.com. And please let us know if you've ever wanted to have anything like this. We want to know what your special use case is, and let us incorporate that for you. Cool. Well, I'm excited.
Me too.
Yeah. All right, Casey.
So
yeah. In addition to GravityBoard, we've been, as you mentioned at the top, we've been doing a lot of updates to our GravityView Elementor widget. I'd love for us to demonstrate that.
Yeah, we have. So if anybody joined the live call last month, we gave a demonstration of our new integration with Elementor for GravityView, where you can add a view inside the Elementor builder, and you can style it and you can configure it. And yeah, we wanted to give an update on that because we've added some neat new functionality. So if there's any Elementor users, I'm sure you'll be excited to see what we have in store.
Yeah, and I think we're doing some things with Elementor that nobody else has done, that I've seen at least. Because GravityView has so many different functionality, has so many different settings, so many different configuration options. So we wanted to make it easy from a UI perspective, user interface perspective, to know what you were editing to be more point and click rather than hunt and peck. And so we added some affordances to make it easier using the interface to configure GravityView than I think anybody has done so far with Elementor. And we've done a lot of work to make it accessible so that it's easy to use using keyboard navigation, and screen reader support is baked in.
Yeah, Zack really went all out here, and I think that this is going to be a fantastic addition for us and for all the Elementor users out there. So yeah, let me go ahead and show you all what that looks like. I can just add a new page here. And I'll go ahead and edit this with Elementor, and we'll launch the Elementor page builder here. Wait for that to load. Come on. All right, we got it. Cool, and then all we need to do here is add in our GravityView widget. So here it is, and we can just drag and drop it into our page layout here. There we go, and then select a view that we want to embed from the drop-down menu. Let me go ahead and select my view. And then, like I was showing last time, here in the Styles tab, we have all these different options for styling different aspects of the view. Like, for example, adding more columns here to make it like a grid instead of a list, for example. But like what Zack was mentioning is that we've really improved the user experience by actually adding these different highlighted sections as you hover over the different style tabs. So all of these different sections correspond to different zones in the view. And sometimes when you have so many different options, it's hard to know where you are exactly. But now when you hover over these different tabs, it actually highlights that section of the view that tab pertains to. So you know exactly what you're styling, which is super helpful. So as you can see, like if I hover over list entries, it highlights the cards there. And if I hover over the subtitle, it just highlights the subtitle area of the view. So in this case, I'm using the list layout, which does have those different zones in the view editor. But this is really neat. And then another thing you can do is actually click on the area that you want to style, and it will open that tab here in the sidebar automatically. And then you can kind of tweak the styles there. And not only that, but we've added these tabs at the top here to make it really easy for you to navigate between the multiple entries and the single entry layout. So if we click on the single entry there, you can see it loads that here inside the Elementor editor. And this is all live preview updating in real time. So you can see exactly the impact of your changes as you're tweaking things. And then again, you can just hover over these different tabs and you'll see what area of the view that corresponds to. And you can add styles to those particular zones. So I think this is going to make it really easy to tweak and style all the different aspects of your view right inside Elementor. And yeah, we're really excited about this new widget.
Yeah, and Elementor, I had opportunities to meet a couple of people from Elementor at PressConf, and they're also really excited, and I shared a demonstration with them, and I don't think that they had seen anything like this either. So we're really psyched. And this is not just going to be an Elementor innovation. Hopefully we will be bringing this functionality through to the other page builders we're building out, but we're really excited to bring it first to Elementor because it's the most popular page builders used by our customers.
Yeah, and if you're an Elementor user, let us know in the chat, or if you use a different page builder, let us know what that is, because we do want to have this functionality for all the popular page builders that people are using.
Yeah. So that's exciting. And one of the things that we did was try to standardize the options that were available for each of the sections so that they are consistent. Mark Straight says, I am an Elementor user and I love this. That's awesome, Mark. Thanks for sharing. We can't wait to get this out into your hands.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you want a more in-depth run through of all the different styling options and things like that, you can check out last month's GravityKit Live, where we kind of went into this even deeper. So yeah, if you didn't tune in live last month, you can check out the replay on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, and we're going to be supporting out of the box the list layout, the table layout, and the layout builder layout. And we have plans to support data tables and the other layouts as well, but these are the ones that we're going to start with.
Cool. Yeah, and so it's not just a new Elementor widget, but we also have revamped the GravityView search functionality, right, Zack?
Yes, we have. So the search functionality in GravityView has been pretty much the same for 10 years, and we have been wanting to add functionality there that allows you to add more design functionality, more design capability to be able to structure what fields in what order and the appearance of those fields in terms of the adding column support to that. But we also, when you have a search field, you don't always want the more advanced functionality to be visible. You want it to be able to be accessed. And whenever I went into another website that had better search, I would be jealous of their advanced search toggle that drops down the additional options, and you can have an advanced search. So this was from last year, Casey. We had a meetup in WordCamp Europe, and we were talking about improving the GravityView search functionality. And this is the results of that. We've been working on it since then to try to rework the whole idea of how to configure search in GravityView.
Yeah, and I think this is really a major improvement over what we had, and I think it's going to make things so much easier for configuring different search bars for your views. So let me, yeah, here we go. So let me first just remind you all what the old or what the current interface looks like for search. So let me dive into the view editor here, and I have a search bar widget added to the top of my real estate directory. And I can kind of open the search settings here. This is the current interface. So here you can add different search inputs by just clicking on the plus. And these can correspond to different fields in your form. And then you can kind of reorder fields as well by like dragging and dropping. And then you have a couple of options for like adjusting the search mode. But that's really it. That's all the kind of configuration options that you have in the current interface. So now let's dive into the new interface so you can really see how this is different. So let me open this search bar widget. It's the same view, but we got the new interface on this one. And here is what it looks like now. So as you can see, this is very similar to the view editor itself, where the different search inputs or the different components of the search bar are added here like fields that you can drag and drop. So one really cool thing is that the submit button is now its own separate field. So that means you can kind of configure it separately and style it separately, which is really nice. And then you can add different search fields here, just as you would like in the regular view editor interface, which is really cool. So we can kind of add a couple of fields here. Of course, you can drag and drop things to different locations. And then for configuring different layouts for the search bar, you have the ability to add rows, just like in the regular editor. So I can add a new row here, let's say like a 2-column row. And then, of course, you can move your fields to the different areas. So you can kind of set up the search to look the way you want it. Yeah, and then another really cool thing is that the search mode is also its own field that you can add here. And all of these fields are configurable by just clicking on the gear icon as normal in the GravityView editor. So that opens this little side panel, and then you have some options specific to that search field. So for example, if I add the search mode, I could actually make that an input field on the front end. So I change it to radio, and now the user can actually choose the search mode when they're making a search, which is really cool. And I'll show that on the front end as well. And then, of course, you can drag and drop rows like this. And then the final thing, like Zack was mentioning, we have this new advanced search option, which is going to be really powerful. So what I can do is add a new row here, and I can add additional fields to the advanced search. So this isn't visible by default, but there's a little button that says advanced search, and the user can click on that, and then they get all these additional search options. So we can add them here. So let me go ahead and add a bunch of different options here. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. We've got everything set up here. Maybe I'll kind of rework this a little bit. Let's add the search mode in there. We can have that as a radio field, so the user can actually change the search mode. And then, of course, if you wanted to change any of the specific search input labels or anything like that, you can do that by just opening the settings here for that particular input field. And they can add a custom label. In this case, you could add a placeholder here. You can give that specific input field its own CSS class if you wanted to target that with some of your own custom styles. And then, of course, we have this option as well to make visible only to logged in users. So you have all these different options to customize the specific search input. So it gives you a lot of granular control over the search, which is really nice. Cool, so I've kind of got this set up here. Well, maybe I'll actually swap these. So I have the submit button at the bottom there. And yeah, let me update that. We can kind of take a look at what that looks like. So let me, I need to open that. There we go. So yeah, so this is our search bar, like we configured it. And we've got our different fields here, and then this one has 2 columns. So we've got the price search here, and then the search mode. And this allows the user to choose if they want to search by matching any field or matching all fields. And again, you can choose to have this hidden, or you can show it. That's up to you. And then we have the advanced search. So as you can see, this is like a little button here. You can click that, and this opens up the advanced search with all the additional options that we added here. So yeah, I think this is just a really nice improvement over what we currently have.
I agree, and I know that I'm going to be wanting to set this up in all our views as well, where you might have like a global search everything, and then advanced search with any of the detailed field search inputs, because you might want to be more granular, or you might want to just be general. So I'm excited about this. It looks great, and it really opens up a world of future enhancements as well by converting everything to having the same powerful configuration options that we have in GravityView for normal fields, and adding those configuration options to the search fields. And
Yeah,
Claude says, looks great. I'm really interested because we had a lot of conversations with Raphael about the search. Yeah, we've been wanting to do something like this for years, and we finally can. Klaus asks, is it able to put the advanced search button next to the search button on the right side? That's a great question, Klaus. We should have the advanced search be configurable in that way. Currently, we don't, but based on your feedback, we will add that option.
Yeah, it's a great point. And it's something I was thinking about earlier as well, because currently the advanced search is kind of fixed here. But if we actually had this as its own area that could be dragged and dropped, that might be something worth considering.
Yeah, that's great feedback.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. And in addition, we have enhanced the search itself. So the benefits that have come from working on this are going to be making their way through the rest of our products as well, like Gravity Charts. That's one of the nice things about working on these types of things, is that we can share the query enhancements from Gravity Search or Gravity Charts back into GravityView Search, and really share the improvements throughout our ecosystem.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So far we've gone through GravityBoard, the Elementor widget updates. We just demonstrated the new search bar functionality, and now it's time for a live Q&A. So Casey, what do we have?
Yeah, we do have a question here. Let me throw it up on the screen.
And please ask if you have a question. Please ask. Casey and I are here to help.
Yeah, please do. You can just throw it in the chat and we will answer it for you. So we did have one that got submitted before the show. Brian asked, at some time it would be really nice to see a complete demo for passing values from parent form to embedded form. And yeah, totally agree. I've set up a demo here, which I hope will clarify this a little bit. So I will go through that. Let me throw up my screen there. Okay, so passing values from a form to an embedded form. So one of the things you can do in GravityView is actually embed forms inside the view itself. And then often what's helpful is to pass information from that particular entry in the view to the form. So it sounds complicated, but it's pretty straightforward to set up. It utilizes the Gravity Forms dynamic population feature. So I'll go through a quick example. I have a view set up here, and it's kind of like an asset tracker for tracking different office equipment. A lot of companies have things like this, where they have a lot of equipment they need to keep track of. You can open up a piece of equipment here and see more information about it. But one thing that's really helpful is to be able to reserve a piece of equipment for a period of time if you need to. And for that, it's helpful to have a form where you can actually submit a request to reserve that piece of equipment. So we can go ahead and add that functionality to the view. And I've already set up a form here in Gravity Forms for doing this. And you can see at the top, there's like an asset ID, and it has the model number. Sorry, I got a bit of a cough today. And then there's a couple of date fields for choosing the time frame that you want to reserve it for, and then a message field. So what we want to do is embed this in our view, and then we want to pass the asset ID and the model number automatically with the request, right? We don't want the user to have to try to find that information because it might be complicated. So we want to just add that automatically to the request. And we can do that using dynamic population. So all you need to do is open the field settings here in the Gravity Forms editor, and then check this box that says allow field to be populated dynamically, and then give it a parameter name. So in this case, I'll just give it the parameter asset-ID. And then we can do the same for the model number. So go ahead and check that box, and then just give it the parameter name of model. And then we can save that form. Okay, so that's everything we need to do on the form side. The rest we do in the view. So here I am in the view editor, and I will go to the single entry layout here. And I'm going to add a new field. And I'm going to add a Gravity Forms field. There we go. And that allows me to embed a form inside the single entry. And I'll open up the settings here and select the form. Reserve equipment. And now all I need to do to pass in the asset ID and the model number dynamically, I'm going to add them here in the field value parameters. So all I need to do is add the field parameter here that I assign to the field, and then set it equal to the asset ID here. And this, if you don't know, this is a Gravity Forms merge tag, which essentially will be replaced with a field value. So the asset ID field value will get populated here. And this ensures that it pulls in the correct asset ID based on the entry that the user is viewing at the time. So then we can just add an ampersand and put in our second parameter, which is model, and then set that equal to the model field there. So that is all set up. And I can go ahead and just update this. And then I'll refresh the view here. And you can see that form is embedded here in the single entry. And this information, the asset ID and the model number, is pulled in automatically here to these fields. So they're pre-populated. And what you could do if you wanted to hide this, you could just hide these fields, make them hidden fields in Gravity Forms. So the user actually doesn't see it, but that information is sent automatically with the submission. So they would just add like the dates that they wanted it and the message and click submit requests, and that data will get sent automatically. So yeah, I hope this is helpful, Brian. Let us know if that answers your question.
Yeah, that was a great demo, and I also thought this is a great use case for Gravity Calendar, another one of our add-ons, where you could see for each piece of equipment, you can embed a calendar that shows the availability of that equipment, so people have a sense for when that is able to be reserved as well, and who has reserved it,
Yeah.
and any details you can add to the Gravity Calendar event details tooltip.
Yeah, absolutely. You could extend this, and that's part of the reason why it's so nice having different add-ons that are so well integrated, because you can kind of extend and add additional functionality as you need it.
And you could set up a GravityBoard and see all the different statuses of each of the equipment items for their reservation status.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Well, great demo. Again, if you're on live, please ask any questions that you might have. Otherwise, we have just a recap. One more time, we were on the Gravity Forms Breakdown podcast. If you're not subscribed, if you listen to podcasts, check out the Gravity Forms Breakdown podcast. If for no other reason than to listen to Matt Maderos's smooth baritone. I don't know if he's actually a baritone, but it's always nice listening to what's going on in the Gravity Forms space. You get to know the Gravity Forms team more, which is really cool. Casey, we haven't talked about this, but I think it would be a nice thing to have some of our team members on GravityKit Live, introduce them to the world.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't agree more.
So we talked about the Breakdown podcast. We demonstrated GravityBoard. We demonstrated updates to the Elementor widget that's in progress. Both of those are coming out in the next month, I would hope. And demonstrated the new search bar. Also in the next month or so, like coming soon. Yeah, here's hoping. And yeah, I think that's it for today's GravityKit Live. Casey, where can people sign up for early access to the Elementor widget?
Yes, we didn't share that link, did we? So please go to gravitykit.com/early access GravityView Elementor widget.
Oh,
I'm now realizing this link is a little bit long for people to remember.
Well, you can also just email support@gravitykit.com if you have any, if you'd like to have early access, and to be on the list at least, and we will send early access as soon as possible.
Yeah, we would love for you to try it out and give us some early feedback. So yeah, please don't hesitate to check that out. And there's one more thing I wanted to highlight here, which is if anybody, well, we know all of you are working with our plugins. We know that our customers build some incredibly innovative websites and web apps using our tools, and we would love to know about that. And we would love to spotlight you and showcase your work on our website. We would love to write a blog feature about you and your work. So if you're interested in that, head on over to gravitykit.com/share-your-story. So share-your-story. And there's a short questionnaire here just about you and your work and how you use GravityKit. It'll take you 5, maximum 10 minutes to fill out. And we will use that information to write a really nice case study and spotlight for our blog. And obviously link back to your website as well. So if you're interested in that, please do fill that out. We would love to see what you've been working on.
Yeah, and like Casey mentioned, it would be helpful to us because we get to share what you're doing with our products, and hopefully it'll be helpful to you because the additional exposure that our blog and social media provide. So please get in touch with us again. gravitykit.com/share-your-story. So any of these things, if you're like, I don't remember the link, just email support@gravitykit.com. They'll make sure to connect you to the right place.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for joining us. If you have any feedback on GravityBoard, on Elementor widget, on anything, please again email support@gravitykit.com. And otherwise, I think that's it.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you again next month.
See you next month. Thanks, Casey.